Hi, ladies. Your notes for today are going to be over lesson 8.4. We're going to be talking about rotations. So, what I need you to do is in Google Classroom, these notes are posted. Open those up, split your screen so you're watching the video on one half, and then you have the notes open on the other half. Anything I write down on your notes, you need to write down on your note sheet, and then you need to submit it before class on Wednesday. Your packet is going to be due on Wednesday, so you're going to need to turn that in the first thing at class, and then there will be a worksheet posted just focusing on rotations, and that will be due before class on Wednesday as well. Your quiz is still on Thursday, and it will cover all of the triangle inequality work that we've done, plus all of the transformations. So translation, reflection, and rotation. Okay, so we want to remember that a rotation is a turn. Okay, so it's a transformation in which the figure turns. And remember, we talked about we're going to remember rotation has a T in it, that it's going to be a turn. A rotation is an isometry, and we remember that that means that both figures after I turn it are going to be congruent. Okay, so if it's not congruent, then we've done something terribly wrong. I want you to focus on these coordinate plane rules right here. This is what's going to guide us through our lesson today. Okay, and so every time you're going to rotate something, you're going to go back to here and you're going to say, okay, am I rotating something counterclockwise? Am I rotating something clockwise? And then we're always going to focus on the rule, whatever they're going to tell us to do. These rules are going to be on the review worksheet on Wednesday, as well as the quiz on Thursday. Okay, so you don't have to memorize this, but you do have to be familiar with it. Okay, so let's look at number one. It says a rotation 180 degrees about the origin. Okay, so here is our pre-image, H, and we want to rotate it 180 degrees about the origin. So anytime we're going to do something about the origin 180 degrees, we want to look at this rule. So xy becomes the opposite of x and the opposite of y. Okay, so our point H here is 3, -4. So we're going to do the opposite. So H prime is going to be -3, +4. So -3, +4. Remember that anytime we graph an image, we always have to label it. So again, we notice that we've got the letter, we've got that little prime symbol. We always need to make sure we label. That's really, really important. Okay, and that's it. You've just rotated H 180 degrees about the origin. Okay, so let's look at number two. Again, we want to rotate point D. So this is my image, or I'm sorry, my pre-image, and I want to rotate it 180 degrees. So the point D is -2, +2. That's the ordered pair. So then D prime is going to be the opposite of X and the opposite of Y. So 2, -2 is going to be D prime. Okay, so now it says we want the rotation for number 3, 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. Okay, so we're going to look up here, 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, so counterclockwise 90 degrees. That rule is going to be, we want the opposite of y, comma x. Okay, so we're going to switch the x and the y, and we're going to make a new ordered pair. So here is my pre-image, C. So the coordinates of C are -1, -2. So C prime, we want the opposite of y, so it's going to be +2, and then x is going to stay the same. Okay, so C prime is going to be at 2, -1, and that's my new ordered pair. So C is rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, because remember, like if we have a clock, okay, we know that clockwise is going to go this way, counterclockwise is going to go this way. Okay, so over here for number 4, again, we want to go 90 degrees counterclockwise, so we're going to use this rule right here. So looking, my pre-image is y. The coordinates of y are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Positive 5, negative 2. So then y prime, we're going to take the opposite of y, so positive 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So y prime is going to be up here. That's it. Okay, so now for number 5 and number 6, we notice it says rotation 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. Okay, so now we want, if we look here, we want clockwise 90 degrees. So here is my rule. Okay, so when I have 90 degrees clockwise, xy is going to become y and then the opposite of x. So if we look at n, our n is our pre-image, okay, and the coordinates of n are negative 3, positive 2. So n prime, we're going to keep y the same, so that's going to be 2, and then we want the opposite of x, so that's going to be positive 3. So 2, positive 3, so n prime is going to be right there. Okay, again for number 6, we want 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. So v is my pre-image, and the coordinates of v are negative 3, negative 2. So v prime, we're going to start with y, so y doesn't change, so that's going to stay negative 2. And then we want the opposite of x, which is going to be positive 3. So v prime is negative 2, positive 1, 2, 3. Okay. Again, that's all we're going to do. We're just going to use, again, these rules up here, these coordinate plane rules, to rotate our figures. Okay, so if we look at the second page of our notes, looking at number 1, we want to graph the image using the transformation given. So for number 1 and number 2, we want to rotate 180 degrees about the origin. So anytime I want to rotate 180 degrees about the origin, my rule is going to be the opposite of x and the opposite of y. Okay, so we're going to look at all of these points. Okay, so P is at 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ordered pair 1, 4. K is the ordered pair 3, 0. N is the ordered pair negative 1, negative 2. And then F is the ordered pair, let's see, 1, 2, 3, negative 4, positive 2. Okay, so I'm going to change the colors here just so we can see. So P prime, we want the opposite of x, so negative 1, and the opposite of y. For K, K prime is going to be negative 3, 0. N prime is going to be 1, 2. And then F prime is going to be 4, negative 2. Okay, so let's graph that. So negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's P prime. Negative 3, 0 is K prime. N prime is at 1, 2. And then F prime is at 4, negative 2. Okay, and we connect all of our points. And we notice that it is, these two figures are congruent. It's just rotated about the origin. Okay, so if we look at number 2, again, we've got 4 points. V is the ordered pair 2, 0. J is at negative 1, negative 1. R is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, positive 4, negative 3. And Y is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 3. Okay, so again, we're going to use this rule. We want the opposite of x and the opposite of y. So V prime is at negative 2, 0. J prime is at 1, 1. R prime is at negative 4, positive 3. And Y prime is at negative 5, 3. Okay. So negative 2, 0, here's V prime. 1, 1 is J prime. R prime is at negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 3. And Y prime is at negative 5, positive 3. Okay, and I have done something terribly wrong because we'll notice that this doesn't look the same. So what? Oh, no. Oh, okay, so right here, this should have been positive 1. J is at positive 1, negative 1. So then J prime is going to be at negative 1, positive 1. Okay, so that's the problem here. So negative 1, positive 1, there's J prime. And now that looks nice and similar. Again, it's just rotated. Okay, so I'm kind of glad that I made that mistake, just so you guys can see. Obviously, it didn't look exactly the same, and so I knew I did something wrong. So that's all you need to do. You just need to check to make sure you've got the right original, the pre-image, into the image. Okay, so for number 3, we want to do a rotation 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. Okay, so counterclockwise 90 degrees. Let's do this. Okay, so our rule for 90 degrees counterclockwise, we want the opposite of y, comma, x. Okay, so looking at this, B is 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4, positive 1. X is negative 3, negative 2. And N, 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 5, negative 4. Okay, so again, we're going to use this rule. So B prime is going to be negative 1, negative 4. X prime is going to be 2, negative 3. And N prime is going to be 4, negative 5. Okay, so negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's B prime. 2, negative 3 is X prime. And then N prime is at positive 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we can see, again, the shapes are congruent. It's just turned 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. Okay, last one, number 4. We want a rotation 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. Okay, so if we look at our chart on the first page, 90 degrees clockwise is going to take our pre-image, and our image is going to be y and the opposite of x. Okay, so y is the ordered pair. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So 4, 3. K is at 5, 3. B is at 5, 0. And U is at 2, negative 2. Okay, so again, we use this rule. So Y prime is going to be 3, negative 4. K prime is going to be 3, negative 5. B prime is going to be 0, negative 5. And U prime is going to be negative 2, negative 2. Okay, so 3, negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Y prime is here. K prime is at 3, negative 5. Oh, hold on. 3, negative 5. Here's K prime. Okay, B prime is at 0, negative 5. And U prime is at negative 2, negative 2. Okay, so always, whether we're rotating, translating, flipping, reflecting, whatever we happen to do, we always want to make sure that we connect our points. We always want to make sure we label. Okay, so that's rotation. So again, you're going to go and use this table, these rules, and that's going to help you with your homework. Again, the notes and the homework are going to be due at the beginning of class on Wednesday. I will also collect your packets that day, and your quiz will be on Thursday.